Hello, my name is John Wade. I am a senior chemistry student here at St. Cloud State University. I just got back from Kolkata, India after attending the Indian Institute of Science Education and Research. I went to the Polymer Research Lab where I learned about raft polymerization with Dr. Latha and Dr. Day's research students, and I'm happy to be back. What I enjoyed so much about the trip to India was just taking in all the different sights and sounds, the whole atmosphere of India, from Delhi to Morampur to Kolkata to Agra. India as a whole is a beautiful country with beautiful, lush greenery, interesting cities, both the old buildings and the new buildings, wonderful people that are very kind and friendly, and it's been an awesome experience. The place where I spent most of my time was Morampur, which is north of Kolkata, India, and that's the location of Indian Institute of Science Education and Research. The institute was still being built there, and it's in the middle of the Bengal jungle, from my understanding. It's in the West Bengal region. And I enjoyed how everyone there seemed to be very much willing to share with what they knew and with what they had with you, and they treated you very kindly, even if you might feel uncomfortable with where you were. The hotel room was nice, although you could definitely feel the humidity the whole time over there, and since it was the peak of summer, it was very hot, but I loved it. And the science itself, the raft polymerization, that was something I've never had experience with before, and learning that particular polymer chemistry, albeit even though the teachers I had over there, there's a bit of a difficulty in understanding the English that they were speaking due to the accent, but it was still fascinating to hear every word and to learn a new technique in chemistry. The research itself, it introduced me to what it's like to actually work in a graduate level research lab amongst PhD students and master's students, something I've never had experience with before. And it's a perk that I got to do it in a foreign country, because then I got to see how research was done over there. And polymer chemistry is a branch of materials science, and just seeing the progress of that particular field was fascinating and rewarding, I believe, as a whole, because now when I consider graduate school, I'm not feeling at all scared about applying and getting accepted, because I'll know what it's going to be like when I get into a graduate level research lab. Although some of the challenges I faced over there were a little bit more than what I was used to. I was reading their research papers they had published, those students, and I was learning a new type of chemistry, a new type of science right there on the spot. And although I had to adapt immediately, once I adapted, it was pretty easy to pick up the pace and learn with ease everything else that was involved with that research. Well, I certainly didn't anticipate seeing the police officers carrying assault rifles rather than just handguns. That kind of surprised me quite a bit. But I also didn't expect that almost everybody on the street or anybody at any site or institute that I went to would just be so friendly and open to talking with me about their life, their experiences, and just accepting me as a whole. That was something I really didn't expect. Definitely. I've never traveled out of the country before. Traveling by plane, I'm used to. I'm from 800 miles away from St. Cloud, Minnesota, so I take the plane every now and then to go back home. But traveling on plane overseas, it's a long ride. It took at least 8 hours before I landed in Holland, and then took another 8-hour flight to Delhi, India, and then another 2-hour flight from Delhi, India to Kolkata, India. A lot of flight time, And when you're flying, it's, especially coach, it's rather hard to get the sleep that you need because you're in this uncomfortable seating position. But I'd say battling sleep and adapting to every single new airport terminal that you land into, that would be the most challenging portion of traveling abroad. After that, once you know where you're at and you get your bearings, it's real easy. I don't feel like I'm as scared of people anymore. Before going over there, I'm still somewhat a little terrified of people, but I feel like I can be more open. I don't know if there's just a portion of me that has just not cared about what others think anymore, or exactly what occurred, but talking with new people over there, talking with people at a higher education level than me, I feel a little bit more confident and a bit more sure of myself that, hey, I know who I am, and I'm very much more open with people now. You know, I think that would be very likely that could have been the case. It could have also played a part that I was just not in my comfort zone. I was literally a fish out of water. I mean, moving from one portion of America to another portion 800 miles away, you're more like a fish that's been taken from a pond, put into another pond. When you're moved into another country on the other side of the world, it's more like taking a fish and literally placing it on land. It's a total 180 from what you're used to. And yeah, the culture was different and the people were a lot more open, and I think that helped me to open up too initially, and just because of the experience, I feel like I've grown. I feel like I've had kind of an easy ride now, even though my sleep schedule during the semesters doesn't seem that way. Their classrooms are a lot more rigorous than ours. In India, they have a lot heavier coursework, but at the same time, part-time jobs aren't quite so common as they are in American classrooms. So I feel like I really wish that I could have had that rigor over here. So I feel like I'm going to devote more of my time to my studies and feel like I can be more of a competitive student. I feel like really trying to go for the gold now. Aside from the increase of confidence, which helps no matter where you are, I feel like my experience in talking with talking with multiple people from India, different researchers from India, and even different students, I feel like I am very comfortable with going into a workforce that has a multitude of other foreign internationals as well. I feel like I can I feel very much like I can adapt to any situation now. I would definitely encourage a study abroad experience, because not only will it change you as a person and expand what you know of the world, but you also feel like I've conquered something that I never thought I could do before. I feel like I could take this and I could go anywhere now. I feel like I could go to any other country I want to now, so long as I do the appropriate research of traveling over there. I feel like the world is a smaller place, but it's a better place to live in. People are more humane than you may think.